Like people, businesses have their journey, their path, sometimes straight, but more often evolving, growing, and adapting to a changing world, creating the need for knowledge in areas like accounting, consulting, tax, technology, areas critical to your continued growth and success. All part of the journey, all part of what we do together with you. Because your success is the destination. MNP, wherever business takes you.
We all need Canada's youth to succeed. We need youth to help design drones to put out forest fires and ensure artificial intelligence doesn't outsmart us all. We need youth to help cure the diseases we don't even know exist yet.
We need new skills
for a completely new job force.
But we're not prepared.
That's why RBC created Future Launch, to empower Canadian youth for the jobs of tomorrow.
Welcome to Python's Pit. Have you ever had to wait in line at a restaurant and didn't know what the wait times were before you got there? Well, Hakam Sangaha and Isaac Judson have the solution for you with Wait Less. Welcome to the Pit.
Hello Pythons. The nearly average person spends about 5 years of their life waiting in line. Considering the life expectancy of a Canadian is around 80 years, there's a lot of time that we wasted while waiting. My name is Isaac, and this is my partner Hakam, and our idea Wait Less will cut down the wait times of many popular restaurants around the Greater Toronto area. Also, we will also do detailed reviews and let the customer book a table on the app without even having to call the restaurant. According to Gallup News, nearly 50% of Canadians and Americans eat at a restaurant at least once a week. Being that the population of the Greater Toronto area is just under 6 million, there's a lot of possible customers. Our app would also do very well starting off in the GTA, as there are roughly around 7,500 restaurants in Toronto alone. And with the app, it would get rid of the inconvenience of having to wait hours to get a table at a restaurant. So how does it work? Well, all the customer has to do is download the free app and create an account, and then from there they can easily check the wait times of each app. You may be wondering how the wait times will be provided. Well, the restaurants will input the data through a system provided by us, which makes it very easy for the restaurant to do, and will give the customers the most accurate time. After the customer has finished a dinner, they will be asked to review the restaurant out of 5 stars, much like the Uber app. And if they want, they can also give more specific information, just like Yelp. And finally, to book a table is also very simple. All the customer has to do is choose a restaurant they want to eat at and a time, and if that is available, they can have that table.
Waitlist is completely free for any customer to use, but the way we will generate our revenue is by charging restaurants a monthly fee to use our services. What makes our app different from any other service, such as Yelp and OpenTable, is that it's an all-in-one feature, making it more convenient for the customer. Apps like Yelp only offer reviews, and apps like OpenTable only offer table bookings. What we do at Waitless is provides reviews, table bookings, as well as live wait times. As stated before, we will first be looking to start off our app in the Greater Toronto area, then look to expand nationally and eventually globally, so everyone around the world will be able to use our app. If you were to win the contest and the $3,500, the first thing we do is look for an app developer who could create a prototype of the app. From there, we will start to pitch our app to restaurants across the Greater Toronto area, and eventually, when we have some restaurants on board, we will look to promote our app to the general public and get some customers. In conclusion, our app Waitlist will greatly benefit majority of the population, as well as make everyone's restaurant experience a lot better. Thank you, Glenn, for joining us. Glenn Attridge from Attridge Buses and Transportation here in Burlington. Glenn, thank you so much for being a Python this year for 2019. What made you want to get involved with this program?
Well, to be honest, I enjoy anything to do with youth and this entrepreneurial spirit. My company is doing a little bit of a sidebar. We're bringing kids into the live show.
Absolutely.
And I kind of got approached through that. Once I met Far, her and I talked, and she thought I would be a good candidate for it, and I was excited and motivated to be here. So I'm happy I experienced it, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Well, I know the students will learn a lot from your experience and your wisdom that you bring to the table. So as a local entrepreneur, it means a lot to hear from you about your experience as well. So
just to wrap it up, one thing, if you had to pick one thing to a piece of advice for a young entrepreneur, what do you think it would be?
Well, I'll just kind of go with my experience, and that is that hard work, nothing replaces hard work. You can have all the ideas you want, but unless you're willing to put in the time and the effort and the energy, you won't be successful. And maybe add to that, and I think I said it earlier in one of the broadcasts, you know, never take your eye off your goal. Set a goal. Keep setting goals. Do it regularly, and meet those goals, and keep pushing yourself and challenging yourself. And there will be obstacles that come in your way, but they're only problems. Never take your eye off the goal.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Glenn, for joining us. For all the students watching, hard work, set your goals. Thanks so much, Glenn. So Pythons, I know this is an app that I will use because I hate waiting in lines at restaurants, but is it feasible? Any questions from you guys? Clinton, want to start us off?
Sure thing. Nice presentation, guys. Good job. My question is, does this exist already? I like the idea. I haven't been searching for it myself yet, but I'm going out for dinner tonight, and I'm actually worried about the wait. So can you tell me more about the way you've done in terms of research of other companies that are doing this? Are you going to be entering a clean slate or a lot of competition?
Like we mentioned before in our presentation, there's apps that do like booking services and reviews, but there's no really any apps that do the wait times. So what makes our app a lot different from the others is that we provide the wait times, the bookings, and the reviews.
Yep.
With ours, like I mentioned, we have 3 different features that can be very useful.
Excellent.
Great response, guys. Glenn, any questions? I know you like to get down to the numbers sometimes, so any thoughts around the feasibility on this?
No, I think this is something that is feasible.
Wicked.
Not sure whether your only stream of income would be from the restaurant themselves. I think there's more applications to that, such eventually you might get into some advertising or other, even for the user fee, it might be something nominal. So there's other ways to grow some revenue there. Have you thought about expanding this? I realize this is a startup, but I see this for theaters as well. Like I go to a movie and I don't know what the lineup or how many tickets are sold prior to me getting there. Just another thought. Will this eliminate, you said 7,000 restaurants. Is those restaurants geared more towards high-end eaters, higher priced restaurants, or where did you come up with the 7,000?
The 7,000 is just all kind of restaurants in Toronto, like just
Greater Toronto area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the majority of the restaurants.
But what type of restaurants? Because primarily, if you get into a higher end restaurant, you call ahead for reservations. So
We're mostly looking for restaurants that aren't like fully on the reservation. For like example, like a bar. It's mostly that you come in, you ask, and sometimes you have to wait. So it's not like targeted for like restaurants that do reservations only.
And I see this as something you could promote to those restaurants and say, eliminate your reservation system. Our app will do it for you.
Yep.
So I think it's exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, that's a great point, Glenn. And you know, a lot of boutique restaurants that are starting now are not taking reservations. So to have an ability for the user to see what the wait times are like would be a great application. Agatha, any questions for you?
Oh, I love this idea. I absolutely hate waiting for a table, and I'll actually leave if I have to wait and go somewhere else, and it's pretty frustrating sometimes. Your idea reminds me of Skip the Dishes. I mean, this is how these guys started. And that's what great businesses are built from, is you solve a problem, basically. You're trying to solve a problem that a lot of us have, and we don't know what else to do with it. So I think it's a great idea. I think the challenge for you will be raising capital, initial capital, in order to make this happen, because a $5,000 or $3,500 investment isn't going to cut it in terms of building the app. Have you thought about, you know, where you're going to get your initial seed capital? Like, are you going to talk to family members, or how are you going to build out the initial money that you need to make this happen?
Yeah, we would definitely look into getting money from families, friends, and let them invest into the company, and maybe even get potential investors from outside of families.
I think another idea that we could have to raise capital would be do other entrepreneur contests such as this one.
Yeah.
And look to get more money from that to help start up the app.
The other thing is, you mentioned a monthly fee. I think with Skip the Dishes, what made them really successful really quickly is they basically charge a delivery fee to the restaurant, right, or to the person that's using it. There's got to be something to it as opposed to a monthly fee. You might want to look into a small portion of the cost of the meal that goes to either the person that's using the app or the person that is receiving the client, the restaurant themselves. So that's just another idea for you.
Put more incentive into using the app.
Michael, you're a busy guy. You'd use something like this, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. The only question I really have around this is, it's such a hyper-competitive space. Sure, there's maybe not another app that focuses primarily on this or has it as an additional feature. But if I think of all the the restaurant apps that are out there, the barrier to entry for them is going to be incredibly low. So as soon as they see this idea, they've already got the platforms out there. They've already got the the marketing out there. Everyone knows who they are. They could turn it on like that and build that feature in. Have you thought about how you would address those kind of challenges when you enter into the marketplace?
Well, we probably will. I know we wouldn't probably have enough for it, but we'd look to getting a patent probably for the idea. But with the 3,500, we probably wouldn't have enough. So we'd have to get more capital from families and potential investors.
Okay. I just sort of follow up on that as well. Yeah. So when you're starting up an app, I imagine a lot of your initial costs are certainly getting the app up and running. But next step would be getting your feet on the street, getting your sales force out there that are actually getting all these restaurants on board. What's your strategy around that to get these restaurants signed up?
We think the best way is to approach the restaurants like face to face and introduce the idea to them like that. Because if you send an email or if you just try to do it over phone, they could just ignore you. Yeah. So I think the best way is to ask restaurants individually and see what they think about the idea and try to get them on board.
And to follow along with that, one of the things you could be doing is, I'm always looking for that focus, is where can you go to actually get this going? And you could potentially go to the restaurants that are not doing very well or not very busy to try and give them more business, right? So if you go to those guys, they're going to be more open than somebody who's really, really busy and has a giant wait list anyways. They don't care if one person leaves because they've got another one waiting. But going to the places that could use more clients and more regular clients or customers would be a really good place to start.
In my experience, a lot of startup companies have also found associations and or conventions that to go to and get a booth and sit in your booth and as people walk by, you tell them. So I'm sure there's a few conventions that happen for Ontario restaurateurs. I mean, if we're just focusing right now on Ontario. But definitely hit those, find that association, get on that mailing list, send out something to all the restaurants.
Be a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Glenn, because I know the Burlington has a very strong and vibrant restaurant association, and starting there could be an opportunity to really get engaged with the customer base itself and see what their struggles are. So
EIAs,
exactly.
Chamber of Commerce, all those things.
And in the restaurant business, it's they're very people oriented, and going into the shops and having those conversations like you guys were saying is something that's crucial rather than sending an informal email, because I'm sure they get emails all the time. Right?
Everyone also prefers a more personal interaction when with business.
It was a lot better this year doing it with a partner and having knowledge of what to do when we're up there.
Yeah, it's a lot easier with a partner. You don't have to memorize as much, and you can also kind of rely on the other one. It was very nerve-wracking. Kind of like all the bright lights and all the judges. Gets nervous, but then you get into it and it's fine after that.
Yeah. Nervous at the start, then you get comfortable. They really enjoyed the idea. They said they'd all use the app as well, so that was nice to hear.
Yeah, that was really good to hear.